There we go. Yeah. Alright, so go here. Go to edit stream info. Go to this. Let's put there's Doom. So there's that. Alright. Nice. It actually goes through. Alright, go to profile. I want to check the stream, see how it's looking on silent and everything. Profile. I want to check the stream, see how it's looking on silent and everything. Can I actually be able to do that? So I disabled the rewards. Don't worry. Hmm. Might have to quote unquote look into that. Um, 'Cause I thought like always like, oh, you can only do that if like if you've got like the purple button. But anyway, so normally I would kind of like check Discord and all that, but like I put in some random emotes and stuff. But I think I'm just go ahead and get started. So as always, everyone, hey yo, my fellow Rumble Maniacs. It's Mr. Rumble Roses here, and welcome back to another random installment of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. And today we're gonna be doing more of the Star Wars Doom mod, because it was the last thing that I kind of was playing here on the channel, as far as like you know classic Doom mod stuff was. I think I originally started this because of like May the 4th and all that. And it's like, oh, I have a little something I could probably do with Star Wars or something like that. So let's try it out. Let's see how things go. Um, and so I figured I was like, hey, let's continue with it and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to try and do. Um, if you want to know anything about about the mod, this is pretty much all I can really. That's pretty much I can show. Um, so yeah, pretty much it's like so I guess like pretty much in a nutshell, it's kind of like a mod that combines a lot of other Star Wars stuff for Classic Doom, or at least like in this case, like oh, it's like like Doom 2. Kind of like a thing like that. It's uploaded by Doomkit. This is the quote unquote Bethesda version because it's like oh, this has you know like because this includes this, that, and the other. So yeah. But yeah, so So yeah, we last left off on, well, I thought we were gonna be like done with the New Hope or something like that, but apparently it's just like I think we went from like a planet to something like, I guess, like, the Death Star or something like that. So yeah, so yeah, we're gonna, gonna show all the stuff I can. So obviously this is the fifth, this is the fifth. That's the chainsaw, basically as a lightsaber, pistol, shotgun, super shotgun, chain gun, rocket launcher. I think like these two things are like the plasma rifle and BFG. So yeah, we're on map 3 called Death Star Chasm. So, so as you can see, it's like, like like a really old mod. Some enemies like kind of act like, like the Doom, Doom counterparts they replaced, like those, like those realm drone things from Attack on the Lost Souls. You got like troopers that Alright, so I'll quick save here. The Death Star. I don't know why, but I just find it so funny, like, like, imagine doing this with a lightsaber.
What was that? What was that? There's one up, 10 done.
And who would have thought that in the future, in the likes of Star Wars, they have a Berserk.
What was that?
out that way. Can't get out that way.
What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? I think I want to save that.
Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
Oh, okay, so note to yourself, do not stand on that, do not go to the bottom of the thing and stand on that floor.
What was that?
But yeah, when it comes to like a lot of the like the older mods and stuff like that, like I wasn't really around like in the Doom community or whatever when you know like some of these mods were made like in around that time, like because I want to say like I got into Doom pretty late in the game, especially like being able to play around with mods and stuff like that. Okay, so we got a yellow key. Whoa.
Can't get out that way. 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 Can't get out that way.
Riveting noise, is it not? Yeah, and I think like the whole what was that? You know, like I think like that's supposed to be like the I think that's supposed to be like the sound like it's I think it's like the replacing the replacement sound for roaming noises.
What was that? 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 There's one. What was that? What was that?
Yep.
What was that? What was that? What was that?
Yo.
What was that? 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 What was that?
Can't get out that way. Get out. Can't get out. Can't get out that way.
What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that?
Alright, Hannah. You know, I appreciate you. I appreciate you letting me know what's up and everything. You know, and thanks so much for the work and all that. Mushroom boils. Backpack. Yeah, I don't know for sure if like some of the power-ups and stuff in this game or in this mod are supposed to be like are supposed to be like, you know, like the quote unquote like representation of like a set piece or something like that. I mean, I can kind of understand if like, oh, you know, this is supposed to be like some sort of planet, but I, you know, but I didn't know how to, um, but like I didn't know how to put in like a custom texture to replace certain things. So it's like, oh, and so it's like, oh, you know, you know, like this, like the red moon, like a red planet. You know, like, we'll just say this for like an example. Like say, like say this is like supposed to be like representing Mars or something like that, right? Like, oh, you know, I need some red. So it's like, you know, oh, you need to use partial invisibility. Hush! Hush!
What was that? What was that?
No.
What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? was that? What 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 was that?
Ow.
What was that? 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 What was that?
I can wait for this thing to rise up.
Can't get out that way. Get out that way. Can't get out that way.
What was that? What was that?
Apparently this counts as a secret area.
Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
What was that? What was that? What was that? There's one. What was that? 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 What was that?
Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
What was that?
Still trying to find out it's like I gotta look at both things what it's doing.
There's one. That's for some. What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that?
That's like a big kaboom.
What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that?
Let's see. Okay, so this one studies ability.
Can't get out that way.
What was that?
Ow. Lift wide, shall we?
What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that?
Can't get out that way.
Oh.
The force is with you.
Alright, so because we are on a new level, and all that, we're going to make a new save because, and I don't really mind talking about this, but even though like I talked about it before, but it's kind of a thing that I do with certain places, especially when it comes to like, especially like when it comes to Doom. You know, it's like, say for example, I'm doing a playthrough of something, right? And I haven't finished the whole thing in like one stream. So what I do is like I'll make like I make what some people call like a hard save. You know, and I'll leave that be, and then when I do the next stream or whatever, like stream, video, whatever, then I will usually like continue on from there. And if I want to make like a new hard save thing, I'll make a new one as like a bit of a fallback, just in case like something happens, and then if everything goes well, then I will usually delete the old thing and have the new thing be the current thing, and then of course rinse and repeat until it's fucking done. So I guess we're in the part of the thing where we get to the detention center area to find Princess Leia, and I'm going to assume that there's going to be like some sort of
Can't get out that way.
escape, like an escape hole or something.
There's one.
I'm going to assume it's kind of like supposed to be like some sort of like random monster
Can't get
boss
out
or
that way.
something.
Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
Let's see.
What was that?
Basically, like anything, this is like the place that we need to open.
What was that? There's one. There's one. What was that? There's one. What was that? 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 What was that?
The one thing I will say about this level is I wish that they had like a different texture thing for the holding, like the doors for the little cells and whatnot. Like I wish they had something different for that. Be like, oh, this this is not like a you know, like the sort of like corner or something like that. This actually is a room you can go into. I mean, granted, like I can kind of, I mean, I can kind of understand it. But it's like, hey, you know.
There's one.
Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
What was that? What was that?
Let's go on the outside here. See if we can clear the, clear some shit. Okay, I already went that way.
What was that?
Monster Closet? That's a Monster Closet, apparently.
Can't get out that way.
Okay, so this looks like the last little area that you can go to. So if there's not like a key or something like that, I'm gonna be surprised as fuck.
There's one.
destroyed there, none there.
Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I'm honestly a bit confused. Hold on. Yeah, all these things are basically the same. It's like, don't tell me that this level is not beatable.
Can't get out that way.
Like, I've not seen one hide, I've not seen one hide nor hair of the fucking key. Yeah, like I said, this famous is like a little, like a monster closet type thing. The hell is he come from? So, we got like 2 areas that need keys, right?
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Okay, so there's these boils down here. Hold on. Is this gonna be one of those mods where I'm gonna have to kind of like, you know, can it? Or something like that with, cause like I have like a handful of mods and everything like that, and yeah, and it's like, you know, I don't want.
Can't get out that way. Can't get out. Can't get out that way.
I'm honestly a bit confused.
Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
like the most I would think, right, is like the most I would think, right, is like there's like it's like and like maybe there's like a button or something like a hidden button or something that's like on this whole one of these little random things, right? It's like you hit a button, press it, and like say this door. Wait, what? Wait. Did I literally? So, these things apparently are not...
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to like picture this, okay? So I seen this video from this so I've seen a video talking about how some activations and stuff like that in Doom, over like doors and walls, like anything that pretty much like is a normal thing, right? That has like I think it's like a GS activation where it's like like either you punch it or use some sort of like hit scan weapon or something like that. But say like for here, in like a level in like a thing like this, it's like how would you know about I was like how would you know? Sorry, I'm just trying to like just I'm having a random train of thought here, if that makes any sense. Because I'm trying to think of I'm trying to like think about the whole situation because like I've seen the classic movies, like I've seen them a lot. I want to say I used to own them, but like I think I want to say like I think I used to own them, but I've seen the classic movies a lot, and I'm just like thinking to myself like, okay, they go like Han and Luke go into the detention center area to try and find Princess Leia, right? They find her, like, it was like, okay, they find her in a cell, they say, like, oh, they can be like, hey, Luke Skywalker and all that, come to rescue you, this, that, and the other. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, there's, there's that. Okay, okay, there's that. But the way that it was known to be, it's like, oh, you shoot a, it was like, like, oh yeah, you shoot like a vent thing. But it's like, oh, it's not like, oh, it's like a gate. Oh, it's really like in like an actual door. So I'm just trying to think, like, are these other doors, are these other like cellular things? Are they made to where it's like, oh, it doesn't feel
Can't get out that way. that way.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm gonna try the other doors. I think I'm gonna try the other doors that, yeah, that weren't, could be open for normal
I have a
means.
really bad feeling about this. I have a really bad feeling about this.
Can't get out that way. 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 Can't get out that way.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Curious, sir. Curious, sir.
Can't get out. Can't get out that way.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Can't get out that way. 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 Can't get out that way.
If you only knew the power of the dark.
I am so fucking confused right now.
Bad feeling about this.
Can't get out that way.
Okay, fine, fucking way. Figured out the method to this level's madness, I guess. Ooh. Let's see what's on this floor first. Okay, so we got a blue key finally. Achoo! Achoo! Hold on. Ba, 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 ba.
What was that? Set for stun.
Hey, ouch. I think, give me your shit, boy. Ugh.
What was that? What was that? There's one. Set for stun.
Let's try again. Cause that kinda was an owie.
Hey! What was that?
Okay. That's a bit more better.
There's one.
Force lightning. Zap away.
What was that? What was that?
Alright, yellow key.
Can't get out that way.
There's that, and I mentioned this before as well, but if there's any random advice that I would give people, that would play in certain games, like Doom, like Clash of Clans and stuff, for example. If you have a way to do a hard save and everything, or at least like a hard save and or a quick save, and everything, do it when you got a key, so that way you can kind of have it be like your own personal checkpoint.
What was that? Blast him!
Okay, so I got all three keys now. Blue, yellow, and red. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't whistle no more. I gotta do a thing with like with my team with my t-shirt or whatever the term is. Like, okay. I think I know what's going on. So, if you guys remember like those big red dudes are kind of like the Baron or Hell Knight replacements or whatever. I always randomly say Barons. Because I think Barons have more health than Hell Knights, but something tells me something tells me like the platforms and stuff that they were on are raising like it's gonna be like a raising platform thing, and there's gonna like, oh, it's gonna be fucking riddled with all that. Yeah, you can see like it's right there. Whoa.
Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Okay, so... Ow.
The force is with you.
The Death Star has been destroyed, and the rebellion has pushed back the Empire. Sure, Vader escaped, but for now you can enjoy your gold medal and as your reward for aiding the rebellion. But you're not in the woods, if not even yet. The Empire has pushed you to the outer rim, where you have taken up resilient resistance on the frozen planet Hoth. Star Wars Doom style continues. Let's see. Okay, so... Okay, I'm just doing this that way I don't have to, like, you know, sit through the whole fucking demos, because I don't know why, but, like, I really wish that there was, like, a way to turn demo stuff off. Let's see, so, I know I have a little bit of time. I know we would end around, like, 8 p.m. my time. But I think, like, for now, at least, I don't know, cause I know I can go on to like the next, like episode thing and all that, but I'm like just, do I want to though? Yeah, I got like a lot of, you know, like random different, mods and stuff. And some of these were like a pain in the ass to get, honestly, because, and I don't know why this is a thing, but like, sometimes I have like these moments where it's like I'm trying to download like, you know, like mods and stuff like that I really want to try and, you know, like get and play and, you know, this that and the other. But for whatever reason, it's like, oh, and like you know, I'm watching the progress bar, and the way that you can be able to tell when something's, you know, good, or it's like, you know, it's like it's ready to play and all, is when it goes to like 100%. But it's like, oh, you know, if it gets to like a certain, like a random point in time, and it's like it just says, oh, it's complete, it usually is not complete, and it's like, oh, like some sort of error, and it's like says, and it's like, oh, some sort of error occurred, so like you get turned right back to the fucking main menu. So, let's see. So I think what I'll do, just you know, just to kind of like have something to break away from it. Um, I think I'm gonna play for episode one with this mod, which is the Doom 64 Fire. And basically what this is kind of like it's pretty much like a I want to say kind of like a like I want to say like a texture pack or something like that that basically like makes classic Doom, Ultimate Doom be like Doom 64, as you can see. You know, like every enemy, every weapon, enemy, you know, stuff like that, is all Doom 64. If I have multiple items, we'll play on UV. See, I'll probably like try and title this thing a little bit differently or something like that, or maybe I'll just like talk about it in the description. And yeah, probably next Shoot 'em Up Saturday that I do, we'll probably do like a second episode of Star Wars Doom mod. You know, see how things go there. But I'm not ready to end just yet. You know, I think it's like, hey, no, I'll do something as like a little bonus. But yeah, like I've seen mods here and there where it's like, you know, trying to turn like classic Doom into Doom 64 in some sort of way, and one thing I remember was like this whole thing of this mod called Doom 64 Fire. Now, I can't remember exactly I can't quite remember exactly the whole situation with the original like Doom 64 Fire, but I'd say like the textures and stuff are a little bit more. I don't know if I want to say fresh or something like that, but yeah, I just remember like it being like I just remember like certain little things here and there, but yes, I think like someone made like a possible, quote unquote possible, like a DHack version or something like that, where it's like, oh, you can go, turn like classic Doom game into Doom 64. So. And for those that don't know, not really mind talking about this, but when it comes to Doom, funny enough, like the first Doom game that I ever played was actually Doom 64. And I've always said this, and it still rings true. But the Doom 64 is one of those games that kind of has like a little special place in the gaming heart. do quick save. I might do a thing where it's like, um, I might do like a random thing here and there where it's like if I do like a random Weapons Mod Wednesday stream, where like I stream, you know, or I like stream stuff on Wednesdays or like the always streaming. I might do more. I might do more of more of this, you know, mod, this little mod. But yeah, I might do like a thing every now and then where it's like I'll do like Weapons Mod Wednesday. I'll just play like some sort of like random gameplay mod that I have. You know, no matter if I'm going to like, you know, like Ultimate Doom or Doom 2 or something. Oh, you bitch. Like, I get the fucking stim pack and all of a sudden he just go boom. But I won't be doing a Weapons Mod Wednesday, on my next upcoming Wednesday stream. Which I'll try and explain, around the end, because it's kind of an announcement type of thing. Just a random curiosity. Yeah. But yeah, basically in a nutshell, I'll kind of give like a little bit of a teaser. So I had like the idea set for um my 2 days slow week of streaming. Like I had like a couple things in mind, but I decided to change it up a bit for a certain particular. And yeah, unfortunately, like, the weapons themselves are not as are not like how they are in 64. So even though it looks like I have the like a dual dual chainsaw thing, it's like it still acts like like the singular one. Alright. Eh. What in the world? Ew, I forgot the fucking quick save. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna actually do is I think I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of call it here. I might, I might do like the Doom 64 Fire thing on like a different time, but I don't know. Like I think like it's like a nice little stopping point, because like the main thing was done and all that, so yeah. Um, so I guess we could say that we kind of checked out, what the Doom 64 Fire was like. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream and everything. And I know it's pretty quiet here, but for those that came by, whether you were, lurking out and about, or just like randomly stopping in and see what's up and all that, I really appreciate you. I really do. Um, but yeah, I want to talk about my schedule and everything. Hold on. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about my schedule and everything like that because I kind of have some change in plans on my next week of planned week of streaming and all that. So tomorrow, which is gonna be Sunday, as far as this, stream stuff goes, but if everything goes well, my next stream will be tomorrow, aka Sunday, which is gonna be more Dead by Daylight because the final part of the 2v8 stuff is gonna be unlocked as far as like the tome challenges, whatever the fuck it is. Um, so I'm gonna be trying to, do some stuff I think with that. Um, my idea is at most trying to play as much. My idea at most is trying to at least maybe get like a couple of killer games in, and then afterwards I'll probably do like some Survivor, and stuff like that. Um, but we'll see. Because sometimes, because who knows, I may be in a random ass killer mood. But Wednesday and Thursday are gonna be a little bit different as far as what the planned thing was. So Wednesday and Thursday was originally going to be like some more Dead by Daylight, doing the final part, like the final day of doing the final day of 2v8, because I wanted to go try and get as much blood points and stuff as possible. And then Thursday would have been Nightmare Reaper, but I'm gonna dedicate. I'm gonna try to dedicate Wednesday, like next week, mostly to Elden Ring, and I'm gonna explain why. So I recently made a new little build. I got rid of I got one of my other builds, which I got rid of I got rid of my build of Caleb because I haven't really played around much with him at all and everything like that. Like I haven't, I guess there's a handful of characters I haven't really played with, but it's like, well, if I want to get rid of someone, to make a new character, then Caleb would definitely be the one, because it's like, oh, like I had my fun with him, I just like, like, oh, having like a weapon that's pretty much close to like they're like the closest thing to a pitchfork, in Elden Ring. So, there was that. Um, yeah, I got rid of Caleb to make a Melania build. Now the idea originally was gonna go one way, but I ended up putting more points into her than I originally had intended, which is fine. I'm often all the time at this point be like, oh, I'm just gonna go over level, like go past the meta level or set level goal that I had in mind. But basically, in a nutshell, I made a Millennia build that is more or less focused on actual like melee combat. Some people might consider it to be some people might consider the name to be a little bit weird because of how it's pronounced. Because it's like because it's like the word melee, or as some people say melee, like melee, like meaning hand to hand combat, or whatever. Basically it's spelled that, but with the NIA, because like it's supposed to be like melee, nia, because basically I'm saying like, oh, it's spelled, trying to make it sound like it's saying Melania, but it has a little bit of a meaning to it. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be playing with the build on Wednesday, and everything, and then Thursday will be the same thing. We're trying to continue more of that, and then Friday will be it's gonna technically be like a special little Let's Play Live type of thing because it's not going to it's not gonna be a part of my normal day of streaming, but essentially I'm gonna be playing on Friday. Hopefully, if everything goes well, I'm gonna be trying my best to play Night Rain, also known as Elden Ring Night Rain. Because that's when the game is going to be, because that's when the game is going to be released. And so far, more or less, is that the plan is that it's going to be me and my friend Onyx. We're trying to play the game, do a thing together. And hopefully Shadow Seed 5 will be able to join us as well, but I don't know. So, you can consider that how you will. But essentially in a nutshell, it's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be Elden Ring, with my Millennium build on on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday will be a special Let's Play thing of Night Rain. You know, to see how that plays out. You know how that goes, if you will. Oh, excuse me. Turkey fucking head. I don't know if I can go right into this person or not, but I'll try at least. Let me put some PC so I can get typing my own little chat here. Alright. Alright. Got that pull up. I really hate when it's like I put in like the slash rate command and all that, and all of a sudden it's like everything like just freezes because it's like, oh, it's trying to like bring up that whole like the whole list thing, or where it's like, oh, you know, you put the slash, what do you want to do next, type thing. Steno, post, steno. Alright, so I don't know if we can go right into them, but we're gonna try because we're on new person. But if you enjoy what you saw today, though, and you watch this on Twitch, feel free to give the channel a follow and become a Rumble Maniac today. If you want to follow me anywhere else online, you can check out my YouTube channel, give it a sub, and all the usual good stuff. And also feel free to follow me on Twitter as well, because I often, post a lot of stuff there from time to time. Alright, so to raid or not to raid? Nope, can't raid. So I really hate I really hate that. I hate when that happens. It's like, oh, we can't fucking win a raid because it's like, oh, you have to have X amount of people or whatever. So it's like, like fuck me, I guess. Like fuck me for trying. It's like, you know, I want to try to be nice, try to do the thing. All of a sudden, like, nope. Oh my god. Hey yo. To raid or not to raid? That is the question. Oh my god. Let me put my controller over here so it's not on my lap all the time. Bro. And this person, survey says, yes we can. Alright, I apologize, for keeping you guys waiting and all that, but until I see you all in the next video or live stream, as always, take care everybody, and I hope you all have a good week or weekend.